The Weirdest Lady on TikTok by Shira Shira on the Wall. This cannot be. I don't believe that this is worse. I don't believe that this is going to be worse than the Amber chick. I do not believe it. I do not see it. But let's get into it.
In the age of DIY home renovation projects on TikTok, tasks like peeling kitchen resin or painting some stairs seems like a walk in the park when you see what this one TikToker is DIYing under her house. Mikala, aka
Under her house? Oh, she might be like me. Maybe I can fix her.
the Tunnel Girl. And just as the name suggests, Kala is literally tunneling under her house with the goal to
So she's creating tunnels. Is that what it is? She's creating tunnels. I mean, cool, I guess.
build a storm shelter and to mine precious stones. And luckily for us, Kala has been documenting her entire process on TikTok, which we will be covering in its entirety. I was also lucky enough to interview Kala over the phone, which, can I just say, like, was not an easy task. I have no idea if she's gonna pick up. Okay.
Hello.
Hello, is this Kala?
Yes, it is.
And I'm so grateful for it because the only other publication that got to interview Kala was NBC News, and that was in late November of 20.
Is a calming video. It seems just an odd girl, that's it. Just an odd woman. But I mean, hey, if she has fun tunneling and baking tunnels, I guess, as long as she's not threatening anybody, it's legal. I mean, sure, build your tunnels, girl. Build all the tunnels you want.
2023, and a lot of stuff has happened since then, like her neighbors snitching on her and having her entire tunnel project shut down, or her being doxxed and allegedly exposed for being a Trump supporter.
Huh?
So when did you start the whole like Tunnel Girl saga?
I started posting in November of 2022.
I am about to embark on a new and complex project. I'm planning to construct a storm shelter off the side of my basement. It's going to take a very long time, a lot of engineering, and a lot of planning and work, and I will be posting updates.
And she did, because on that same day, she posted 2 more TikToks cutting the door to the tunnel.
Cutting the door part 1. After carving the vertical cuts,
This is somehow cute. She's great. I would want to talk with her. This is kind of cute, I have to say. She's a cutie. I mean, might be interesting to hire her for building tunnels, I guess. She kind of cute.
it's time to chip the remaining concrete. I still have so long to go.
And a little bit later, she posted this video.
Finally, the opening in the wall is complete. Now it is time to cut the waterproof membrane and see what is behind the wall. As I continue cutting, I notice that there is a lot of hardened concrete that was poured along with the backfill gravel behind the wall, and that is something that I'm going to have to cut out.
And then just 5 days later, she already made huge headway in her storm shelter project.
Working on the storm shelter. Got a few feet excavated out, putting it all in a pile.
Now by this point, unfortunately, she was not only running out of space in her basement from all of the rocks piling up, but she was also running into a bunch of technical issues with the tunnel.
So we're running into some problems that have...
She really went into this and said, I'm gonna make a tunnel. I'm making a storm shelter. That is funny. I don't think this is. There's weirder stuff out there. I guess it does work as a hobby, I would say.
put us into a dead halt. We have run out of space for excavated rock and have to get the elevator working now.
And although Kala seemed pretty confident in smash smash, dig dig, rock rock, but electricity? Well, it seems like a pretty big challenge for her.
When I first started the account, I was getting a lot of criticism from electricians for something I started with. I did a really shoddy job at installing a welder outlet.
Lady, please stop. Get someone who knows what they are doing. Painful to watch, knowing how it should be done, but I guess it's okay as long as the house doesn't burn down because of it.
So I continued to...
If you do this, and you go a bit overboard and do it wrong, and the house burns down, for example, here in Germany, insurance is not going to pay for that. That is your own fault. Bit unsafe. That's a bit unsafe.
learn and improve and incorporate feedback from the electricians, and now most of them are longtime fans of mine.
And it's true, as time went on, all of Kala's skills greatly improved alongside this tunnel, and she took criticism like a champ.
I realized that I don't know much about electrical and it's not something to play around with, so I've decided to listen to the experts and have professionals do the work for me so that the work is done properly and correctly. Or that's what I would have said if I was anybody other than me.
And literally almost a year later, she literally almost mastered electricity and blew all of the electricians' minds away.
I am working on the mine under my house and currently upgrading the electrical system and will hopefully get rid of all the extension cords.
Nah, this lady's weird. This is funny. I like this video. It's just a chill lady building her own thing. She's literally playing Minecraft.
Previously, I set up all the conduits and boxes. Now I'm running the wires for 3 branch circuits. One of them will be this 240 with an emergency cutoff switch. It will be used for welding and fabricating inside the tunnel system, as well as to support a more powerful pump in the future. Meanwhile, back in the basement, I'm finishing up these junction boxes and installing a receptacle and switch for the blower fan. That looks pretty good.
I'm an electrician. This lady gave more knowledge than 50% of my co-workers possess. As a fellow electrician, I approve. You are a very impressive person.
First people were complaining, then she did it herself again, and then read up properly on it and did it again. I should show this to my little brother because he's an electrician. This is interesting.
I am a journeyman electrician in Las Vegas. I'm proud of you, Sparky.
Now this just kind of tells me that Kala somewhat knows what she's doing with the tunnel, and I'm confident in her skills, and if she doesn't have the skills, she is willing to learn and adapt, which we love. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's go back in time where Kala made a lot more mistakes, like welding inside the house.
This is the most idiotic thing I've ever watched. How are you gonna weld in your house? 1, and 2, what the hell are you gonna weld?
I am going to weld a mine elevator cart using sheet metal and angle iron per the scale model that I created first. I am fabricating in my laundry room, so space is very tight.
And it becomes pretty disastrous later on when she posts this video. Why did no one tell me that fabricating in the house ruins the house? And in the description...
Yeah, lady, I could have told you that that would be the case. I could have told you that this is the case, that this might ruin the house. Who would have thought? Dude. Insane.
And she writes, I have steel shavings in my bed and suit in the kitchen. Hashtag engineering. Hashtag DIY. Hashtag welding. I mean, again, I'm no expert, but I feel like this should have been kind of obvious. Maybe? But I guess you live and you learn. And despite all of the drawbacks, the mine shaft was finally complete.
Lost some of the...
Why did you have to add a sexual undertone into Mineshaft? Why? I can't understand, but why?
Load over the edge. Got a dumpster. Second shaft. This time it's working perfectly. Dumpster.
What the fuck? She built that all herself? Yeah, I can learn from this woman.
Is filled. So convenient.
Now, I can positively say that this is probably the first time in my life where I've been excited about a mine shaft, but here we are. And I was trying to put my finger on why, like, this content is so alluring, and I realized that it's really similar to, like, the primitive built content that used to go viral, like, a couple of years ago. I think part of the appeal of Kala's tunnel project is that it's, like, fun to see someone do, like, physically laborious tasks while we're, like, I don't know, not doing them, while we're sitting at home and enjoying our snacks and not having to go down to the tunnel and mine. Now, the biggest problem that most people have with Kala's project is that it could possibly collapse. This DIY mine could cause a sinkhole so large that it not only engulfs her house.
True, it could cause a sinkhole so big that like multiple houses in the area will just fall into it with it. It's like, it is kind of dangerous. She's a boss. Yeah, she is. It's still kind of dangerous though.
House, but also her neighboring houses, causing irreversible property damage and possibly even death. And the tunnel did actually end up collapsing at one point, which sounds really fun and cool.
I'll laugh when your shelter caves in.
Some of it did collapse today. A big chunk of rock from around here fell down overnight and collapsed onto the ground here. There's also a few more that are probably going to let go. As an engineer, it is my job to solve geotechnical problems. If you're still laughing, then
It is
She's kind of based. She just says, "Hey, if I get buried alive, get somebody buried alive." That is kind of funny. She is very based.
kind of funny how Kala calls herself an engineer in this context, because yes, she is technically an engineer, a computer engineer.
Yeah, she knows. This is when we see nerds, like this is what I think of at this point. Like this is the ultimate giga nerd.
Like, would you still call yourself an engineer in this context if you were, I don't know, an audio engineer? Like, I don't know if I would trust deadmau5 with tunneling under my house, you know? Attention. Is there a doctor on this plane? There is a passenger in need of assistance. Yeah, I'm a dentist? Yeah.
Yeah, the dentist saving somebody's life. As an engineer, this is not Minecraft. You can't just put stones above and expect it not to fall. Your house isn't made of stones, it's made of cement. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Attention. Is there another doctor on this plane? One that isn't a dentist. Now, although Kala does not have formal qualifications, I do believe that she is a great learner. I just think it comes down to like mechanical engineering and construction being like a hobby, and she probably learned about it on the internet or through books.
Building anything, but particularly the tunnel, does require learning a lot of different building disciplines. And some of them I already knew before I started the project. I know concrete, I know basic structural design, I know reinforcement and rebar and plumbing.
And luckily enough that Kala knew about plumbing.
She was really so ready to do this. She got all the tools, she read up on it. This is wild. This is like the crazy guy who has a shelter in his backyard eventually if the aliens attack.
Because just a few days later, the entire tunnel was flooded.
I just got back in town after a few days Christmas travel, and the storm shelter is filling with water. The water looks dark and terrible like sewer water. I better start pumping. Now that the hose is no longer obstructed with a kink, the water is flowing much more freely into the main central sump system. After an hour of pumping, the water level is dropping.
How does that, like, not stress you out? Like, I saw one of your TikToks where the entire basement, like, flooded, and I would have a little panic attack if that happened to me. Do you, like, not get stressed out by all that?
No, because
She really was like, oh.
And
She really was like, oh, my tunnel's getting flooded. What? Oh no, anyways. Guess let's pump it out. Never give up. That is wild.
others are a learning experience, and the complications are what makes it challenging. And building a tunnel is challenging by its very nature. It's going to be difficult, and there's going to be things that'll go wrong, but I like problem solving.
Well, it's lucky that Kala likes problem solving because the problems keep on happening, because after the flooding, the entire thing literally caught on fire.
Huh?
I've come to know a new drawback using fiberglass rebar. Apologize for the poor camera work. This is my first time using a fire extinguisher, and I'm a bit in a panic. I am investigating a fire that broke out in my tunnel. Last night I was welding some steel forms and the rebar and membrane caught fire. I was able to put it out quickly.
Is it the electricity? Did you make a mistake there? I don't know. But then it got fire? Okay.
Quickly with an extinguisher, and the damage is not very severe. A couple of sticks of rebar and some plastic appear compromised. I have to remove a section of form to complete investigation and make repairs.
I would have to say that I'm a worse content creator than Kala, because if there was a fire in my house, I don't know if I would reach for the camera. But then I would like hope that I like filmed some of it, because that's a pretty like interesting story. Like, hey, my house burned down. But also like, I don't know, maybe
She ruined the way her wires were, probably. And like, you have to think about this, right? It burned, but she had time enough. She thought, hey, I'm gonna get my camera and film this. She ruined the way the wires were placed by an actual worker. Yeah, she placed them herself, though.
I should be calling 911. Now that we went over most of the disasters in Kala's tunnel project, let's get a quick overview of everything that she got done in 2023 before she inevitably got shut down in December of that same year. And this was the first video that she posted on the 10th of January 2023.
Another weekly update on the storm shelter. Made
What
a temporary
the fuck?
sump pit at the lowest level for water to accumulate, and completed 2 of the block walls. I need to reinforce the overhead rock with bolts and a ceiling. I have 3 possible alternatives for building the ceiling. The first is to keep poured.
Hold up. Let her cook. She is cooking. Oh my. She makes me want to do this as well. Oh, wow. That is cool.
Concrete on a form, so create an arched form and then pour the concrete on top of that continuously all the way down. The second option would be prefabricated concrete sections that would be raised into place, and then the third is with concrete blocks.
And while taking suggestions from one of our commenters that said, arch with a pour seems the easiest based on my 1,000 years designing tunnels and watching calling furs. She ended up building out the wood reinforcement with a steel form and then pouring the concrete onto that form to create an arched concrete roof.
I'm in a tunnel with 5,000 pounds of wet concrete over my head.
Uh-oh. Hopefully it doesn't collapse. But she said she doesn't talk about any scary stuff, so I think we should be good. I don't want this lady to get buried. She's so cool. You can't do this. This is not an ancient civilization. Apparently she can, and she did. I wonder how far she would have actually gotten then if it didn't got shut down.
And the only thing separating me from becoming a pancake is my own engineering.
And as the year followed, Kala put some reverb up on the bottom walls to help reinforce the concrete when it gets poured, and then welded some more steel forms. Now, don't worry, if all of this sounds super complicated to you, well, it does to me too, okay? I'm trying my best here. But it is important to show you all of this for context. Kala also finally hires some outside help and brings a small group of workers to help her pour the concrete to the bottom shelter walls.
Finally, some help! Hopefully this didn't backfire, though. No, she's doing something right. This is interesting. This is very interesting.
It's done.
Now, by this point in the series, we are about 8 months into 2023 and about 4 months away from the inevitable project shutdown. And this is when Kala removed the steel forms after the concrete hardened and did some more precious stone digging. And after all this, Kala ended up posting the most anxiety-inducing video that I have possibly ever seen, where she does a full basement tour. And as somebody who hates clutter, hoarding, and a mess, this is literally my nightmare.
We are now in my normal looking basement. I'm renovating this room. It's a bit haunted. And off the side of the laundry room is a hoarded bedroom and my workshop. Moving further back is my home office and the entrance to the sub-basement.
Damn, we got a home tour here. I mean, that seems alright for now.
Everything on this side of the house was built by me a few years ago, and the spiral staircase goes down a hexagonal well. The sub-basement is a great mess since I have been building tunnels off of it for the last year. This is the entrance to the tunnel system, and to the side is the steampunk mechanical box. The entrance tunnel goes down a decline 30 feet in and 10 feet down. The first chamber is 22.
She cooked so hard, it's insane how much she cooked. Oh my god! Wow!
2
Wow!
feet below grade and is approximately 10 feet by 6 feet. The sump basin is covered up in that corner. There is a pile of useful building stones stacked here and some waste rubble here. I am currently working on this branch tunnel and was recently stopped dead by getting splattered in the eye with Dexpan. What do you think? Should I convert my house into an Airbnb?
Funnily enough, this probably would not be the worst Airbnb that I have ever stayed in.
She's building the granny house. True, it looks kind of well made. I mean, for somebody who literally doesn't work in this field, this is very well made. It's also like, how do I put this? It's just, I don't know, it's just insane that somebody would go those lengths, knowing also that it could be shut down in a few months or years.
Trust me. And it might even feature a castle, as Kala decided to build one in the future using the precious stones that she mined.
Over the last couple of weeks, the production rate at my suburban mine has been at its highest yet. I am currently quarrying stone for building a castle. I will need millions of them. I have been harvesting a nice vein of building stone, but I'm concerned that it is starting to peter out as I move north. Nevertheless, I'm getting quite a bit of nice stone. After removing it from the dumpster, I stacked some of the smaller pieces against my wall to see how it might look.
And I do love that the top comment of this TikTok is, "Your neighbors gotta be fed up," and Kala replying, "Really? I thought it was pleasant. I love mining sounds."
She wants a castle, let's go. That's amazing. It is. It looks so good. This is nuts! At this point, the other lady is just jealous of this woman. True. In all caps, yeah. The fact she literally probably sleeps with mining sounds. She doesn't need a man. A man needs her. True. She's gonna She's literally gonna build a house with her own hands, I swear.
Now, I'm gonna have to agree with this commenter. And as somebody who frequently enjoys a good daytime nap, I think I would absolutely despise being Kala's neighbor.
Huh, suck, I guess, because I don't need naps. I don't think I've dear simping hard real. I've not had like a nap. When was the last time I had a nap? I can't even remember. Probably years ago. I slept like during daytime and had a nap.
All jokes aside, I think noise pollution is what ultimately led to Kala's mine being inevitably shut down. And it all started when one very clever investigative journalist dug deeper into Kala's background.
My name is Aura Bogado, and I'm an investigative reporter. Several weeks ago, after I noticed that Kayla had posted a video of one of her neighbors without his consent, and that she had made really clear that her neighbors had no idea what was going on, I decided to try and figure out who those neighbors were. So I found out where she lived, and I noticed that almost all of her neighbors are Central American migrants or first-gen immigrants. I began contacting them, and not one knew about this tunnel project. They're really worried about their health and their safety. They talked to me about noise, like tremendous noise, essentially noise pollution, and shaking, like just random shaking in the ground that they didn't realize where it was coming from. And
they literally had earthquakes. That is funny. Magnitude. This is interesting. This is very interesting. I don't like this woman. Let her build a mine. Yeah, let her build the mine.
several neighbors expressed to me that they were worried about reporting anything because they don't want to get entangled with immigration authorities and they don't want to be deported.
Now, unfortunately, one of Call's neighbors did end up snitching on her and reported her to the city in early December of 2023. That's when—
You fucking bitch, why did you snitch on her? Why did you snitch on her? Let her mine at the place where no one else lives, though. True, that would have probably been a fun idea. Like, give her a house, like, in the middle of nowhere and let her just mine.
when Kala was issued 2 separate stop work orders, and that's when like somebody from the city has to come in and like look at the tunnel and see how safe it is and see if they would allow a permit, which could like literally take months. And this was a pretty big problem for Kala because she had a huge following of dedicated fans who were waiting for more tunnel content. So she had to break the news. And she did in the most Kala way possible.
Good morning. I need a moment to pull over. Just give me a second. Are you sure that's what they said? They're from the city? Yeah, I'm not available right now. Can you see if they'll come back tomorrow? Yeah, 10 o'clock. That's fine. Okay, bye.
No. She didn't continue mining, even if she's not allowed to. Please not. Please not. Please don't put yourself into, like, danger because of that now.
Hello.
Good morning, how you doing?
Good morning.
I don't know if you remember me, I'm Jack Smith.
Yes.
I'm a Bayport, building official. This is Jimmy Jones with the zoning department and Brian with inspections.
What can I do for you?
We have some complaints, basically there's some construction going on. And we were just here, basically, to find out if there is and see what needs to be done.
What kind of construction?
Basically they said it's excavation. That you're pulling stuff out of the basement.
Yeah, a little bit.
Can we go down and take a look?
Sure.
Okay.
So they did give me a stop work order and are requiring an immediate evaluation by a professional engineer. Fortunately, contrary to few rumors here, it is constructed entirely below the slab of my house, and it shouldn't be too hard to get the permits and approval. So we'll be...
Wait, is she actually gonna get the approval? That would be wild if she actually got the approval. That'd be so funny. Property has some laws. That's true. That's true.
working on that.
I mean, give that woman an Oscar just from the so dramatic, so beautiful, a masterpiece. And yes, she hired voice actors. I know, the effort, the artiste. Now, I did end up asking Kala about the shutdown. So you did have to stop working, right? Unfortunately.
For now, correct.
Do you know when it's gonna be like resolved?
I can't say because permit process takes a while. So I submitted all the document plans and the engineering to the city.
I want an update on that. I want an update on that. Give her a place in the middle of a forest. She's gonna build a city. It's gonna be so cool. Please, please.
And so they went through their initial review. They came back with a set of comments. I now need to address those comments. That will probably be a week or so of me addressing the comments, and there may be even more revisions. So it usually takes a few months to get permits, but the process is moving along.
Now, although I'm a huge Kala fan, and I still think the entire project was push girl slay, but I can't be a little bit critical of it because Kala did do some sussy things here and there, like not getting a permit.
Yeah, there's a few things I did wrong, like not getting permits up front is not by the book the correct thing to do, but it's not rare. In the construction industry or even in my neighborhood or any neighborhood, probably half the houses have unpermitted work.
And the thing is,
Whoever's gonna marry her is gonna be really happy because, man, he gets the quirky tunnel girl.
don't doubt that people do unpermitted work around the United States and in her neighborhood, but they also don't post that same unpermitted work to TikTok for a year and a half and garner 500,000 followers and millions of likes, kind of puts a target on your back. And people will eventually start asking questions. Like they did. That's like, I don't know, getting away with robbing a bank and then making a TikTok how you robbed that bank and how you got away with it. Now let's get to the juiciest part of this entire saga, and that's the fact that the investigative journalist, or Abogado, did end up uncovering some more sussy things from Kala's background that are kind of alarming and aren't that fun.
Don't ruin it for me. Don't ruin the quirky tunnel girl for me, please. Please.
Turns out that, yes, she's a real person, and she's all over social. Like, she has a different TikTok account, she has a Facebook account, Insta, you name it. I found that she has a Twitter account, and she follows a whole bunch of the Trump family members and has also liked some of Donald Trump's contributions. So there's that.
Now, at the time of the phone interview, I had no idea about the whole Trump thing or her background. So I'm kind of glad that she brought it up herself and luckily addressed it.
In January or the early part of the month, I was like, I don't know them.
So what if she's a Trump supporter? So what? Who cares?
That I'm even going to ever make any more videos because, well, there was so much digging into my personal background and doxing and anger and people talking about that they're all going to petition the city to deny me or they hope that I get shut down forever. And then there was this rumor that I was a major Trump supporter.
What?
So somebody found my private Twitter account.
Yeah.
And I liked a total of 3 Trump tweets, probably 4 years ago. So they posted it very much out of context, and then everybody started making videos of how I'm a MAGA Trump supporter. And
Wow.
so a bunch of people hated me for that reason. And I was getting a lot of really awful, and you know, just a disclosure, I'm not a very political person. I'm very independent.
Yeah.
Probably lean slightly towards Biden, but I'm very independent. It was hurtful that I was getting all these very hateful political comments directed
The average digging up old tweets. Wonderful. Love to see it.
towards me. Unfortunately, it's died down a lot.
And this kind of like broke my heart because people on Reddit did end up doxing her and leaking her address, and I'm not really for doxing people. Even if you're a public figure, I think you deserve some privacy. That's kind of horrible that people did that to her. And sure, she was doing something, you know, a little naughty, but is it ultimately the worst thing ever? Like, no. Guys, be for real right now. I genuinely don't think that Kala did this little tunnel project with any ill intent. In her NBC article, she...
Yeah, very malicious. Building a tunnel. Super evil. We know. Super evil. Building a tunnel. Definitely.
She describes safety as her number 1, number 2, and number 3 priority with the project. She goes on to say that, I wouldn't say that I'm concerned about safety or structural stability. For the most part, 99.9%, everything has gone according to plan and according to my engineering. There have been a few very, very minor mishaps. Can we stop like the witch hunt? The city's checking out her little tunnel, they're gonna come back with the verdict, and then in a couple of months we'll see if it'll get shut down or if Kala can continue. And I hope that she gets the permits, okay? I really hope that she can continue making the tunnel content, because I'm invested, okay? Next, you should watch my Incels Insane Criteria for Women video.
That's pretty much the end of the video. I've already watched that, thankfully. Yeah, let the quirky tunnel girl build her tunnel. Give her the permit. Give her the permit. Hold up. Let her dig. Let her dig. That's all I can say.